I often get asked questions about who am I? I did not plan on ever being a part of these conversations or doing this, what I'm doing right now with you guys. People ask me for my origin story. I have a few points that led me to where I'm at now. A big portion of that is a gentleman by the name of Scott Adams, who I used to be a really big fan of, and I used to watch him. He would come on my YouTube For You page, and I would watch his videos, and he would talk about the news. He would talk about different topics. But there was a time where he became blind, and he started speaking about trusting the experts and trusting the settled science. And me being a physics major and and a man of science, I follow the scientific method. I'm one that can confirm with you that there is no such thing as settled science. The science behind space itself is not settled. It's junk science. It's fake. Nebulas, quasars, black holes. It's all fake. It's a lack of science, because when people tell you you're not supposed to question science, it no longer becomes science. It becomes propaganda. Just ask Goebbels. So now I see a video of a man that I admire, and I notice that his demeanor is a little different, and I notice that he's scared. Something came up in his life, and it falls in line with what I have been preaching was going to happen since 2020, 2021, when the vaccine came out. I know that a lot of people that I watch their shows, they took the injection. So I know that there's going to be a lot of people missing from YouTube and from television shows, and there's going to be a vacuum. There's going to be an abyss. There's going to be a lot of openings. So what I'm doing is I'm just preparing myself and practicing to fill these spaces. Some of my favorite names and people that I follow and trust, they were popular before I started doing this. So when the campaign started for the vaccine, everyone who around them, because they're the center of attention in their circles, everyone was pressuring them to go get the shot. Just take the shot. A lot of people fell for it. A lot of people succumb to pressure, peer pressure. I'm a man. I'm from, I'm from LA, gang culture, whatever you want to call it. But I was never one of the weak ones. You couldn't peer pressure me. You could threaten me. We could fight. But you can't just talk me into something. That's not going to happen. But I was surprised at how many people it worked for. One of the biggest disappointments in the world, in my opinion, was when Mr. Jordan Peterson also gave in to peer pressure and he let them inject him. And he said that was one of the greatest mistakes ever made in his life. And it's likely a fatal mistake for him. I don't see Mr. Jordan Peterson speaking publicly anymore. Matter of fact, all the people that were telling me that I should have took the shot, they all have diseases and issues now, physical, where they can't even go in public anymore. They can't make videos. They can't be seen. I'm actually was going to do another video about Amy Schumer. She was also a TDS junkie, Democrat, liberal. And remember, if you loved Kamala Harris, if you hate Donald Trump, if you hate racism, you have to take the shot, because if you don't take the shot, well, then you're a racist, Trump supporting, misogynistic, Asian hate. You kick puppies. I'm talking newborn puppies. As soon as the puppy comes out, you're kicking it. You're that horrible of a person if you don't take the shot. So now a lot of these people are so ill, they can't do TV, they can't do shows anymore. And they're leaving from doing these their programs. Like I said, Amy Schumer, her condition is so bad. She had Guillain-Barré. But now she's fighting to sue Pfizer, and she's trying to blame them for physical conditions. But Pfizer's saying, well, actually, no, you took another drug that gave you Guillain-Barré. And she's like, no, that was the booster. So she's fighting with them, and all they have to do is just wait her out. You're not going to be able to sort of live for very long with all these different conflicting things going on inside your body. Cancer is a major side effect, if not heart attacks, blood clots, aneurysms, all types of different things. So this is a part of my origin story right here. This is where I come from. This is what breeds people like me. Here you go.
Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you that the people the anti-vaxxers appear to be right. Somebody who did not get vaccinated, got a little Omicron, or maybe even a worse one, but recovered. Now you've got natural immunity, and you have no vaccination in you.
What if there was nothing to be immune from? What if there was no such thing as Omicron or Omarion or Delta or Sigma, all the bullshit they told you? What if when you saw someone get sick, they were just naturally detoxing their body? They caught a cold, they got the flu. I remember one time I walked into a grocery store during the scamdemic and I coughed. And I remember how many people stopped in their tracks and looked at me. To look at so many people afraid of death. If a person's afraid of death and you can scare them with the threat of killing them to get them to comply, you can get them to do anything. Do you know how sad and pathetic that is and how weak that is? I'm looking at, I'm going to do another video today about Bondi Beach. And I don't even know if those cops, I'm like, was it just incompetence? Were they told to stand down? Or were they really that afraid of death that instead of running into the line of fire to try to stop these men, they went and hid behind cars and the police put their hands up? You can't have people in charge of you that are scared of death. I like Pete Hegseth. He's not afraid of death. People like me, we're not afraid of death. That's why we don't scare easy. You can't threaten me or scare me with what? What do you do? Kill me? And that just means I don't have to pay bills anymore. Death is easy. Life is hard. So that's why certain people are more dangerous than others, I guess.
Can we all agree that that was the winning path? The smartest, happiest people are the ones who didn't get the vaccination and are still alive. I want to make sure that I'm not leaving any wiggle room for myself. Have I? Have I said as clearly as possible they're the happy ones right now? And have a reason to be, completely. Having said as clearly as possible that the anti-vax people seem to be the winners, I want you to hear that clearly. The anti-vax people appear to be the winners. The anti-vaxxers clearly are the winners at this point, and I think it'll probably stay that way. And I don't want to put any shade on that whatsoever. They came out the best. They have the winning position. The unvaccinated have a current advantage because they feel better. The thing they're not worrying about is what I have to worry about, which is, I wonder if that vaccination 5 years from now, because really the anti-vaxxers, I think, were really just distrustful of big companies and big government.
Now, what he says right then was pretty prophetic. He said, I wonder if the vaccine, what it's going to do to me 5 years from now. Now, mind you, this video is, let's see here, it's 2 years old. 2 years. Well, we'll see where he is today.
That's never wrong. It's never wrong to distrust government. It's never wrong to distrust big companies.
Yes, it is. The reason our declaration of the reason we have a constitution is because we distrust governments. Our founding fathers understood that a government could become tyrannical and you can't trust it, and that's why we have to stay armed. For one thing, a company, their best interest is making a profit. That's with or without, that's at your expense, or without your expense, whatever. Their job is profits over people, over everything. So you should not trust governments, and you should not trust corporations. You should trust yourself. You should trust God. There's nothing God made for you that you need to inject into your bloodstream. I don't recall anything in nature that is healthy for you that God said, "Yet thou sticketh thy needle in it." That everything about it's nonsensical. People try to talk to me and try to convince me that when I tell them that science, vax science, is junk science, and they're like, "Well, what about these different diseases?" You can literally see that these different diseases were already tapering off because the diseases were being caused by pollutants. There were pollutants inside of paint, inside the water. There were pollutants inside asbestos. And once those were removed, those chemicals, these diseases were going away even before vaccines for them came out. And I tell people, don't forget, humans were living successfully here on Earth long before vaccines were ever even thought of. How did we survive so long if they are necessary? Again, it's like watering grass with Gatorade. When people try to help you or convince you to reinvent the wheel, there will be consequences. There will be consequences.
So if you just took the position, let's just distrust everything the government did, well, you won. You won. You won completely. I did not end up in the right place. Agree? You would all agree with that, right? I did not end up in the right place. The right place would be natural immunity, no vaccination. You should take victory, and I should take defeat.
I do. I take victory every single day in knowing that I resisted the strongest propaganda campaign in world history. I said no to everything. I didn't wear masks. I didn't take tests. I didn't shelter in place. I was kissing homeless women. That's how bad I was. I didn't care. I was in the strip club in July of 2020. I was at parties with 5,000 people in a hotel suite at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas in the beginning because I just didn't give a fuck. Death is so easy. It's an escape. You get to sleep forever. You don't have to pay bills. You don't have to go to work. You don't have to go exercise. You don't got to worry about getting sick. You don't got to worry about anything. So no, you don't. Death is not something people like me fear. It just didn't make any sense. But I do take solace, and I'm proud that I hate that I was right, because there's so many good people like Mr. Adams and Mr. Peterson and so many others that are now gone, and they're expiring before their time. And there's going to be these huge openings, and anybody can just fill those gaps and try to rewrite history. You're going to need people like me that are going to tell you exactly what happened, how it happened, when it happened. You could think of me as a court stenographer. I'm keeping records. I'm keeping score. So, and that's why I have some of the followers that I do and the people that tune in and watch my episodes, is because I'm going over basically our history in real time. In real time, this is our history. Mr. Scott Adams, when I seen this video 2 years ago, knowing that he already knows his situation, someone like him is not going to be there anymore, and who's going to take his place? So that's where I came in. There is not going to be a Jordan Peterson. It's not going to be a Scott Adams. There's people that you didn't even know took the jab, or they told you they didn't take it because they're embarrassed now because of hindsight. But they did, and one day you're going to wake up and they will have had a coronary or some other issue, and there's going to be an opening. Just like, Charlie's not there to do his show anymore. There's an opening. There's a lot of upcoming openings. So I figured I would just start doing content, and as people fall off, eventually I will be pushed to the forefront. Yeah, right now I have 80 people on live across these different platforms. And, I mean, I'm a small channel. I'm fairly new with all of this, but eventually it'll be 1,000. It'll be 2,000. It'll be more because I do a lot of content and I have a lot of things to talk about. So it might not seem important now, but it will. It will.
You can agree on that, right? That my position is now the weakest, and your position has gone from the weakest to the strongest, and that we can just say that's true.
Well, no, I always had the strongest position because mine was based in reality, based in facts, based in data and evidence. There was no evidence of a virus. There's no evidence that viruses even exist in the first place. Actually, the whole notion of a virus that is not alive, but you're trying to kill it, and it can't make you sick, but it can make you. The whole mechanism is theoretical. There's no evidence that viruses have even existed in the first place. When I try to talk to people about space and I tell them that there's none of that stuff exists, it's all just make believe. It's hard for them to get to wrap their brain around the fact that they were conned into believing in all this stuff. And when they think about it, they were never shown any proof. How many other things in your world, in your life, are just make believe, just stories that someone told you? I know people that are willing to die right now in the name of stories of slavery from 150 years ago, 300 years ago, stories that they don't even know if they're true or not, or if they even happened. Just the stories alone can cause you trauma. And that's why, as humans, we always love a good storyteller. I'll be honest, even though Trump's my guy, I still really loved Rob Reiner and his films because he was an amazing storyteller. If you're good at telling stories to people, you can control the masses because we are literally traumatized by stories people told us. I remember they told us that there was a story of a guy in China who was just walking down the street and then he just falls over and dies. And now that's what we use to justify going into lockdown around the world. That's not good enough. He could have died of fentanyl for all we know. That's where it comes from. He just collapsed. And now you're telling me it's not like he collapsed and all of a sudden glitter starts shooting out of his nose and his ass. Then you're going to say that's different. That's probably some new virus they go. Anything less than glitter shooting out of your ass, I don't believe you had any brand new disease. And if it's brand new and it's a 99.996 recovery rate, how do you even know how do you know you even had it? I guess poisons don't exist anymore, right? Environmental poison. Like that's the thing. Like I said, Mr. Adams, I always held the highest position. I didn't need anyone to tell me my position was the highest. I already knew. I don't need another person who puts on a lab coat to come out and say, you know what, Rico, you're right. Fuck you and your lab coat. I can go buy a lab coat. That's not impressive. That doesn't mean you know more. You could spend 30 years in school. That means you're good at sitting there and doing what you're told. It doesn't mean you're a good critical thinker. It doesn't mean you're good at figuring stuff out. It just means that if someone like myself would hire you to work for me because you're just going to follow orders and do what you're told, that's all that means. It doesn't mean you're smart or you would have been able to figure this out. I was able to figure it out. And let's be clear. This is a life or death situation. if there was ever one, this is a life or death situation.
The people who didn't get vaxxed are absolutely in the winning position. You win. You win. You are the winners. You are the winners. All right. Let me say that part with no ambiguity. You won. You won.
I take no joy in hearing him say that I won.
All of my fancy analytics got me to a bad place. All of your heuristics, don't trust these guys, it's obvious, totally worked.
So let's go ahead and see what we can find about Mr. Adams. So this was his update 5 months ago, where he talks about his cancer diagnosis, which I hated. Actually, there's one he did an interview 2 months ago. Oh yeah, I like this guy, Zuby.
There are people all over the world who have seen your work and who have laughed at Dilbert, who have read.
Yeah, see, and Scott Adams is the Dilbert guy. Everyone knows who Dilbert is, the comic strip.
By the world of statistics, the average U.S. adult wakes up in a bad mood 300 times a year. How many of you wake up in a bad mood almost every single day?
I never wake up in bad moods. I don't know. I sleep good though. I mean, but also I have 3 dogs. My dogs are great. I wake up, I look at them, I smile. So
I didn't even know that was a thing. Do you know how many times I've awakened in a bad mood in my entire life? Awakened in a bad mood.
now he was not a very big man to begin with, but you can tell he's lost considerable weight. But he knew what was coming, unfortunately.
This, that the average U.S. adult wakes up in a bad mood. Excellent. Every single day of my entire life that I can recall. So I got problems. You probably heard of a few, like, terminal illness, stuff like that. But
And that's the thing. I respect him for being transparent and coming and talking to us and admitting. Now, people are going to say, oh, it could have been from something. Shut the hell up. We know what it's from. And he's not the only one. But the thing is, he's still going and he's still fighting. He's a man, and I respect that. A lot of people just give up, and he's still fighting, and I appreciate that about Mr. Adams. Do me a favor, if you guys can, find him on YouTube, follow his channel, keep up with him. Mr. Scott Adams, tell him Rico Limbaugh sent you, and I think we should pray for him and give him our support, just like your mother. She took it. Your uncle took it. Your cousin. Your best friend snuck and took it behind your back. You were the lone wolf. I was the lone wolf. I remember I made a deal with everyone I knew in LA. I said, we're not going to take it. I leave out of town. I go to Arizona for a couple of months. I come back. Everyone at my poker game says, oh, yeah, I went and took it. I don't know why. I just drove through the Dodger Stadium. I went to remember where the Burger King was that burned down? They had a booth in the back, and you just pull up. And I was like, you guys were getting drive-through injections? You fucking people insane? What was the name of the person who gave it to you? I remember it's crazy. I mean, I hate to admit it. It sounds funny now, but at the time, I was dead serious. I had moved to Houston to get away from California because too many of my friends had already started dying from the injection. So I kept getting invited to funerals. So I just wanted to get the hell away, far away from California as possible. So I got to Texas, and nobody believed in it. It was perfect. But then I was going to get brisket because everybody eats brisket in Texas. I was going to get some brisket, and right next to this place called Papa's, whatever, there was it was an abandoned Jiffy Lube, but they were giving out injections. They had retrofitted this abandoned Jiffy Lube into a vaccine, basically drive-through. So I remember pulling on the sidewalk and just honking at people and waving at them with my arms saying, stop, don't do it, don't do it. And these people were pulling up in their cars, they were wearing masks, and then they would just look at me like zombies, and the scary part was some of these people in their back seat, they had small children in tow, and they were also sacrificing their children. But I didn't know these people personally. They had no issue. Now there was a couple of people When I pulled up and started honking and I waved at them like, don't do it, don't do it. I swear to God, they literally backed out and pulled off. It was like two different cars. I'll be honest, that's better than nothing. You know, for my world to continue and for my lifestyle to continue, I need the rest of you still to be here. Because if we have a mass die-off, which is what I'm predicting, then they're going to put all these new controls in place. And they're going to say they're trying to prevent the next one. If you idiots vote for Democrats in 2028 or even in the midterms, we're going to be back in another scamdemic situation. Now, I'm smart enough to understand the only solution is you got to relocate to another country that doesn't have enough infrastructure for the globalists to do their technocratic takeover. In the United States, we have infrastructure. We have enough electricity. Other parts of the world, they don't have the electrical infrastructure to even try to do this mass surveillance, technocratic, Mad Max state of, they won't be able to do it. They don't have the capability. But if you're going to stay here in the U.S., you're screwed. It's going to be a prison. So that's what I'm preparing for, just in case. But hopefully, if enough of you don't start taking more and more of these injections and falling in line, maybe I can save the world. I can save our country.
I don't have that one. So, by the way, if you haven't heard the update, I'm on for my terminal cancer problem that was likely to end me this month. That's what I thought. You want to know a secret? Here's a little secret. In California, you have the right to end your own existence if you have a terminal illness and you get a couple of doctors to certify it and all that. And I was in that situation.
Imagine needing permission just to die. Fuck California.
Meaning that I'm officially terminal. I've got 2 doctors to certify it. I've done the paperwork. I've even ordered the medicine that you eventually drink to end your life.
Somebody in the comments said that there's a difference between MAGA and Republicans. One doesn't realize how shameful Trump, lady, we are adults. I don't give a goddamn how shameful another man's behavior is. That's none of my business. As a woman, you can sit there and cry and care about behavior and say, "Oh my God, they're so shame." I don't give a shit. I'm an adult man. Men can say whatever he wants to say and how he wants to feel. Apparently, they're all trying to use this whole Trump's issues with. It seems like I got to address everything today. I'm going to do another video as soon as this video ends in about the next few minutes. I'm going to do another video about Trump and the Rob Reiner comments. Even Jesse on Fire, he went off about it last night. And I don't know why people expect so much of Trump. I thought we all agreed he's not a king, right? So stop expecting him to behave like a king. He's a man. That's it. He is not a god. He's not anything to you. He's your president, but he's not a king. So stop trying to pretend like he needs to behave like King Charles or the King of England. He's not. We're there. We're not there. We're way past that. We're in Trump land. It's a big difference. But yeah, that doesn't work for this argument. And unfortunately, Mr. Adams here is a liberal, a Democrat. He lives in California. He was also outspoken against Trump, loves gays and blacks. And that's pretty much what's required to be a Democrat nowadays. And I mean, but then now he regrets that because even he came out and said living around blacks is very dangerous. And it's true. So when you do see black people celebrating him being sick and dying, it's because he said that it is very dangerous to live around them. So you can look up his video. I'm telling you, he's great to listen to. Like, I think about it. Why do you think my last name is Rico Limbaugh on here? I used to love Rush Limbaugh. I literally feel I agree with everything Rush used to say. So, I mean, it's a good fit. So I agree with Scott Adams as well with everything he said. And he's right now too. Like the guy knows what he's talking about. And because the greats are gone, people like myself are just going to have to figure out how to just keep going. That's why I'm here. I'm here to fill these voids. Hopefully people watch and listen. If they don't, then it's their loss, right?
But that was based on the fact that in the month of May, I was absolutely whacked with pain. I mean, I had pain like I've never felt before all over my body. And so I had sort of internally planned, but wasn't telling the world, that I needed to get past my stepdaughter's wedding and reception. And then to end my life.
Man, could you imagine? This man was so full of life, and he's so smart, and he's been so successful. And now, because he made one bad decision by trusting some piece of shit fucking midget named Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates. I mean, he wears glasses, they wear glasses, and they took out one of their own glass wearing brothers. And he trusted them enough to listen to them for medical advice, which was insane. And now, in a short time later, he's budgeting out the most convenient time to commit suicide. But yet, I was kicked off the internet for telling people to listen to me. Don't listen to the experts. Listen to Rico. People keep talking to me now. Well, who are you? Well, what are your sources? How about this? I'm the opposite of the sources that told you to euthanize yourself. Follow me or you don't. Share my video, like the video, or don't. I'll still be making them either way it goes. It doesn't require, I don't have to make money for me to have time to do these videos. Typically, I'd be partying or day drinking or doing some fun stuff. But I think it's just more constructive for me to sit here and have these conversations. But man, just listening to him budgeting out when to commit suicide, it's just heartbreaking to know what. Let's think about it. It's mind and body. His body is hurting. I went 2 nights ago. I woke up, my tooth was hurting. Just one tooth. I don't know what it would be like to have my entire body engulfed in pain, and my mind gets to the point where it says, you know what? End it all. This is what they want. And I told everybody, please do not take these shots. Please stay away. Please say no. Take off the mask. Vote for Larry Elder. Don't vote for Gavin Newsom. Let's open up the country. Let's get back to work. And everyone wanted to just stay home, be a Democrat, live off the government, and be euthanized. Just can't. I
Guess when? Basically today. Today was the day. I was planning literally to take my own life today at the end of, it might be tomorrow, but at the end of June. But what happened instead is that I started taking some hormone blockers. They block your testosterone, and the cancer needs the testosterone to eat. So
remember the video the other night, the Hydra vulgaris, the parasite they found inside the jab that they're injecting into people. He thinks it's the cancer that needs the testosterone that's killing them. It's what did I say? The Hydra synthesizes. What did I say? Feeds the creature. Testosterone. What did I say? The booster. The booster is nothing more than just a testosterone injection to feed the creature so it grows faster, causes more damage inside your body, and eventually it'll kill you. Isn't it crazy that just a guy like me was able to figure out the actual science behind everything? I outsmarted the world. I am the leading scientist. I am the leading specialist in this topic. And as your leading specialist, I can tell you there's 3 rules that you must follow if you want to extend your life. Now, I'm not saying this is going to completely stop the creature from growing, but it'll buy you more time until I have more information. First things first, if you can, start taking estrogen, because women are not dying from this as fast as men. Apparently, the creature, estrogen stunts its growth or slows it, but testosterone amplifies it. So I would take estrogen. The second thing I would do is, if I wouldn't fly on airplanes anymore. Apparently, there are issues where your blood, when you get to a certain altitude, your blood coagulates, and then once you land, it travels, and then you'll have a clot in your leg or something, or you'll have an aneurysm, and then you'll pass away after you land 3 or 4 days later. It's been happening to men who have been traveling abroad, and people are thinking, oh, maybe when he got to this other country, something happened to him or on the airplane. Yeah, it's because of the altitude. The other thing that you're going to absolutely make sure you don't do while you have this injection in you, until further notice, you can't exercise. You can't go to the gym. You can't work out, because when you do that, you're increasing your testosterone levels. That's why you see so many athletes and bodybuilders dying, but all the fat pieces of shit and all the lazy liberal gays and trans, they're all still alive. I guess this was designed to wipe out the men from the movie The 300. Before they got to the hordes, this is what would have already killed them if they had the injection. The strong, the athletic, the aggressive, the high testosterone men. This is who it was designed for. To be honest for you, it was someone designed it for me and my physiology specifically. Luckily, I just didn't take it, or I would have died the same night, same as DMX. So let's finish off. This is a sad video, listening to him. I do want to play. Okay, I'll play another 30 seconds of him talking about committing suicide. And then we'll go to one last video of him, and then I'll end the video.
Surprising me, I didn't realize that would also remove all of my pain. So, last night I'm swimming in my pool and playing ping pong and walking around. I have no pain anywhere. In fact, I don't have any real symptoms.
All because he took hormone blockers. And are they advertising this at the doctor's offices? Are they advertising this on the news? Or is anybody telling you? Everyone told you to take it, but they're not telling you now how to treat it. Isn't that, what a weird coincidence? I guess they wanted to give you medical advice back then. I guess now they're too busy to give you medical advice unsolicited. So look at that smile. That's a beautiful smile. It's great to hear. He's fighting cancer. And so this is 6 months ago, so he's still alive. His most recent update is today in a hospital bed.
Good morning. Well, let's see who's around today. Looks like all of my platforms are working. Yay. Locals and Rumble and YouTube and X. So come on in. I can't start at my usual time, but.
Did you get your breakfast?
Yes, I did. I'm live streaming right now. If you don't mind. Yeah, you can take that. Thank you.
I'll come back later in a minute.
All right, thank you. I have always lots of company. All right, go check out your comments. There you are.
This is from today, the 16th. I admire him. He's still going. He's still fighting. I hope he is able to stay alive and extend this. I hope he can beat it. But we all know how this goes, and we all know we're up against. If this was a regular situation with a cancer diagnosis, even with what little we know about cancer, typically it was treated. But what if it's a misdiagnosis and it's the Hydra vulgaris? They're not going to know what to do about it, and they're not going to properly treat it. Whatever he was doing at home, the hospital's not going to continue that treatment because it's not a part of their catalog. That's not a part of their methods that and it's all from the top down, from their board of directors down. Hopefully they don't try to slide him some remdesivir. There's issues with that. Mike, this, I don't know why I keep saying issues with my browser. I'm gonna have to reset my computer, just cut my camera off, but hopefully you guys can still hear me. But I like I said, this is a sad video. I just wanted you guys to know as of today, he's in the hospital and where he came from 2 years ago till now. So this is my origin story. Watching what happened to Mr. Scott Adams, and I realized that they're going to need more people like me in the future. Like, subscribe, share the video. If you can, please go visit Scott Adams' YouTube or Rumble page. Drop him a prayer. I'll be back on live in about 20 minutes. We're going to talk about what Trump said about Rob Reiner. And we're going to go ahead. It's not even defending him, because I don't need to defend him. I'm just going to talk about how I can understand where he comes from. I'll see you guys at San Grin shortly. I'm going to go ahead and reset my system, and I'll be back. Thank you. Oh, and remember, America first, America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.